Deadliest viruses in human history. Ebola virus disease. The disease typically occurs in outbreaks in tropical regions of sub-Saharan Africa. From 1976 through 2013, the WHO reported 2,387 confirmed cases with 1,590 overall fatalities. The largest outbreak to date was the Ebola virus epidemic in West Africa, which caused a large number of deaths in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The virus spreads through direct contact with body fluids, such as blood from infected humans or other animals. The Ebola virus infects the immune cells in the body and uses these to replicate itself and to travel to other organs, such as the liver, the kidneys and even the brain. This way, the virus gradually takes control of the body and brings a lot of damage, especially to the blood vessels. Scientists do not know where Ebola virus comes from. However, based on the nature of similar viruses, they believe the virus is animal-borne, with bats or non-human primates, chimpanzees, apes, monkeys, etc., being the most likely source. Virus's typical path through a human. Infection of the Ebola virus can occur from touching the bodies of those who have died from Ebola virus disease, as is the traditional practice in the affected countries. To prevent spread of EBD, handling of dead bodies should be kept to a minimum and burial should be done by teams who are trained to safely bury the body. Marburg virus disease. In 1967, laboratory workers, all in the same lab in Marburg, Germany, were hospitalized with an unknown disease. The laboratory workers were exhibiting the same symptoms, including fever, diarrhea, vomiting, massive bleeding from many different organs, shock, and collapse of the circulatory system. In this outbreak, 31 people were infected, and 7 died. The source of the infection was traced to a virus infecting African green monkeys that were imported from Uganda, Africa, and were being used for polio vaccine research. Human infection with Marburg virus disease initially results from prolonged exposure to mines or caves inhabited by Raucetus bat colonies. Marburg virus clinical illness starts as a flu-like syndrome, same as Ebola, rapidly evolving to severe disease with often hemorrhagic symptoms. No licensed treatment or licensed vaccine is available for either diseases to date. Hantavirus. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is a severe, sometimes fatal, respiratory disease in humans caused by infection with hantaviruses. Anyone who comes into contact with rodents that carry hantaviruses is at risk of HPS. Hantavirus is a virus that is found in the urine, saliva, or droppings of infected deer mice and some other wild rodents, cotton rats, rice rats in the southeastern United States, and the white-footed mouse and the red-backed vole. It causes a rare but serious lung disease called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Cases of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome by state of exposure, 1993 to 2016. Influenza. Influenza is a viral infection that attacks your respiratory system, your nose, throat and lungs. Influenza is commonly called the flu, but it's not the same as stomach flu viruses that cause diarrhea and vomiting. For most people, influenza resolves on its own. But sometimes, influenza and its complications can be deadly. Initially, the flu may seem like a common cold with a runny nose, sneezing and sore throat. But colds usually develop slowly, whereas the flu tends to come on suddenly. And although a cold can be a nuisance, you usually feel much worse with the flu. Influenza affects 5 to 10% of the world's population, resulting in up to 650,000 deaths and 3 to 5 million cases of severe illness worldwide. Effective influenza vaccines exist, and most people easily survive infections. But the highly infectious respiratory illness is cunning. The virus is constantly mutating and creating new strains. Thousands of strains exist at any given time, many of them harmless, and vaccines available in the US cover only about 40% of the strains at large each year. Japanese encephalitis virus. Japanese encephalitis is a mosquito-borne viral infection. It is the leading cause of viral encephalitis in Asia. Humans can get the disease. A mosquito that carries the virus bites them. The virus can infect horses and pigs, as well as humans. When mosquitoes infect an animal, the animal might become a carrier of the virus. When other mosquitoes feed on these animals that have newly acquired the virus, they take it on board and infect other animals. Symptoms include fever, neck rigidity, altered consciousness, headache, tremors, incoordination, and convulsions. Not only is the death rate of this disease high, but survivors experience serious neurologic or psychiatric sequelae. Rabies. Rabies is an infectious viral disease that is almost always fatal following the onset of clinical symptoms. In up to 99% of cases, domestic dogs are responsible for rabies virus transmission to humans. Yet rabies can affect both domestic and wild animals. It is spread to people through bites or scratches, usually via saliva. Rabies is a vaccine-preventable disease. Vaccinating dogs is the most cost-effective strategy for preventing rabies in people. Dog vaccination reduces deaths attributable to rabies and the need for PEP as a part of dog bite patient care. If left untreated after exposure, the virus attacks the central nervous system and death usually results. The symptoms of an advanced infection include delirium, hallucinations and raging, violent behavior in some cases, which some have argued makes rabies eerily similar to zombification.